This is the Big Woods Bucks podcast. Come explore the big woods and timber in North America with your host, Maine Master Guide and deer tracking expert Hal Blood. Listen to Hal and co-hosts Lee Libby and Joe Cruzy as they unlock the secrets of big woods whitetails. Each episode will provide valuable insights into the tried and true system Hal has used for the last 40 years to scout, locate, and hunt mature big woods bucks. Listen and laugh as the crew discusses Hal's legendary adventures and learn how to apply a lifetime's worth of lessons from the big woods to your own hunting and outdoor adventures.
Welcome to the Big Woods Bucks podcast. I'm Hal Blood, your host, sitting here with my cohorts, Joe Cruzy.
Hello.
And Leon Libby.
Howdy.
Lee's been on a little vacation here, you probably noticed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just been laying around, eating bonbons by the fire.
I don't know if you recall, Hal, but during contract negotiations, Lee said something like, I'll do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Yeah.
And that's just what he does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
He is quite a prima donna.
yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do it.
Somebody has to. Yeah. Yeah.
You know how you hear about those crazy contracts that real famous bands do where they want certain color M&Ms backstage and all that? That's Lee.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, can we change the creamer for the coffee? Like to have hazelnut.
You didn't put it in your contract.
Oh, shit.
Shoot.
So are we going to pick on me for a while?
That's what we do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's
Easy targets, Lee. Easy targets.
Yep. Maine deer season wrapped up yesterday. Was the second week of muzzle loading in kind of like central southern Maine. They had that extra week. And Joe's got a little report about that. He was out there in the woods.
I was.
Yeah.
Why was I still in the woods? Because I hadn't shot a deer.
Yeah.
It was a good week. We had a fun time.
The struggle is real, huh, Joe?
Absolutely. Hey, I've had offers to hunt behind the Walmart in Lewiston.
Yeah. Well, Joe guided 4 weeks, so it really wasn't fair.
You don't have to defend me, Hal.
Yeah. Remember you said that.
Yeah.
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 Wasn't fair. No, we had we had a good time yesterday. So I don't know when this is airing, a week and a half. So this is going to be about a week old. But anyway, Shanzy took us to a spot. He had some good luck last week with a client.
Who's us?
Logan Ratcliffe and I.
Yeah.
So I'd called Lee and the night before because he'd talked about going down there, and he told me, yeah, Logan's coming up tomorrow. You want to come up? Well, that's why I'm calling. So
Yeah.
we had good snow. I mean, it poured. I mean,
Yeah.
poured. We were soaked to the bone, but it was fun. We got in there. And it's funny because on the way over, we were talking and just the whole discussion about timing and half of it's luck and being in the right place and all this. And we get there. Lee had been chasing deer around there, recently. Two of them, him and his client, running deer like crazy. And he saw a real big bastard in there, got him fired up. So we go there and he tells both of us, all right, Logan, you go off this way, then walk down the hill, and Joe and I are going to go down here and we're going to work and we'll just each try to cut a track and then take it from there. We weren't there 15 minutes, I don't think. And I hear, poof. I thought it was Lee because it was so close to me, but no, it was Logan. He found a nice 8-pointer there in the hardwoods feeding, put a good shot on it, and that was game over for him. Beautiful buck.
Nice buck.
Yeah. Weighed 189. Which
Yeah.
me and my weight guesses. I thought Lee and I, we all kind of thought it was down in the 170, 175 range, but it was a real nice buck.
That's a big deer for the end of the second
Yeah.
muzzleloader season.
Yeah, we figured it was at least 220,
Yeah.
230
sure.
to start, something like
Yeah.
that.
Nice.
Nice big deer.
But anyway, he put a good shot on it. One shot, peep sight. I think he said it was, originally it was off a little ways, 70 yards or something, and he kind of snuck around and got in position, and he was only 35 yards from it when he shot it.
Oh, nice.
So Lee went over and went to pick it up just to kind of see how heavy it was, and the horn fell off. So made a little extra work for his taxidermist.
Yeah. That's what happens
But-
this time of year.
Yeah. And we got on another one in there, one of those ones that never stops running, and made a day of it.
Yeah.
But it was a good week. I had some action Monday. I did the old grunt and grunted him right back to me. Didn't realize it. That stung a little, but that was fun.
Yeah. Well, Logan had called me Friday night, and he goes, I think I'm going to go up there and show them old guys, how it's done,
Did he say that?
Yeah. He told me that. So I guess he did too, huh?
We should ask Logan if Lee helped him at all after the kill.
Yeah.
Since he was going to show us how it's done.
Yeah. Called on his guy, didn't he?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I should play Lee's voicemail he left me. But
the whippersnapper got it done.
He did. Yeah. I told Logan I was going to bust his balls a little bit, though, that he had to have Lee come over and show him how to gut again.
That's kind of strange. Didn't seem like it's been that long since he shot one. A couple of years.
No, he's actually, how old is Logan?
30, I think.
Yeah. He's doing pretty damn good. He's got some nice bucks under his belt the last few years.
Yeah. Him and Nick are the whippersnappers.
Yeah. No, it was funny. Lee called and he just left me a voicemail while I was going, just so I knew what was going on. He said, "Can you believe it? That little bastard went and shot a buck in the first 15 minutes." I was cracking up.
Yeah.
But good way to end the season. We had a good time.
Yeah. 2 points connecting. That's what it's about.
Then I bought a lottery ticket at the tag station because I figured maybe I can get something out of this. So we'll see what happens.
Oh, one like for the drawing?
Yeah.
When's that?
I think it was last night. I don't know. It was 150 or 350 million or something.
I didn't hear anything about anybody around Skowhegan area getting a lottery ticket winner.
Keep your ears out. Maybe they'll come out.
Oh, shit.
But anyway, another deer season behind us.
Yeah. Lee, did you get to hunt with your muzzleloader?
No, haven't shot it yet.
Yeah.
I only hunted, I think, 5 days, 5 or 6, 5 days.
You got to change that.
Yep. So, yeah.
Yeah, you told me come November. This what do you remember last summer? You were saying come November, I'm shutting things down. I'm done. I'm in the woods.
Well, if anything, Hal, I'm consistent. Yeah. Because I say it every year.
Yeah.
There was another guy I know with the initial CD that said he was going to come hunting this year too.
Oh,
He's supposed to meet us. He might go after Christmas.
The man behind the curtain.
No, before.
Oh, before
They're
now?
supposed to get snow this week. Now I got the word on that. That's they had like 20 inches of snow, and it's completely rained off to nothing. And now they're supposed to get some snow like by Wednesday or something. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But either that or after Christmas. But seems like out there when you get snow, you got to hit it then because they can get those crusts. You know what I mean? If it warms up more than it does around here.
Right.
But Steve wanted to go this week if there was snow. So anyway, see what happens.
What state are we talking? New York or Mass?
No, out in Mass, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. New York, I think, is done now. I know they got a later season like in the Alleghenies or the Catskills or something southwest, but I think even that's over by now. Well, it will be by the time this is out. But that in Mass they got the muzzleloader season from this year. It's the 16th to the 31st of December, so pretty good to place you get some late season hunting if you want to.
I'm in trail grooming mode now, Hal.
Yeah.
We going to talk trail grooming today, Lee?
Nah.
You got your vest on.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're grooming. We're rolling.
All right, I'm putting it on Facebook. Rangeley is grooming.
Yeah, we groomed last Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
Then it rained. Now we're just in a holding pattern until the snow, hopefully on this Tuesday. So
it don't look like much what I saw for this week.
I don't need much.
Yeah.
You seen what Range Lake Snowmobile Club can do with a few snowflakes?
I got an idea it's going to be pretty icy right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I walked out my driveway this morning there. I was like, holy smokes.
At this point, I'm just hoping for one of those surprise sneak up on us storms that, 3 days from now it starts building and it'd be nice to have it before Christmas.
Yeah, 6 or 8 inches will cover a lot of stuff.
I would think you'd have something for Christmas. It's coming right up.
But I'll tell you something. This we got these two rains, a week apart here, and it's great for the deer. I mean,
Yep.
It settled the snow way, way down. I mean, places we had to put tire chains on, and some places you couldn't go even
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Thanksgiving week. You can drive anywhere in the woods now. I mean, it's along those roads, all the logging roads that weren't plowed. I don't think there ain't 6 inches of snow anywhere, I don't think, and there's less than that in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So, but that helps a deer, and it's amazing that it didn't make even though it rained twice, I checked it this morning, it's not an icy crust. It's kind of weird. It's like a little crustiness in the snow, but it won't hold anything. It won't even hold a coyote, so it's really good for the deer to get a break like that, and a little warm spell this time of year, and especially them big bucks. They got to get the feed bag back on and eat and sleep a little bit. So, but we know the snow will be coming soon enough. We don't have to wish on it.
No, it finds its way up here every year.
Somehow it does.
We had one year I was thinking about the other day. It was probably 4 years ago, maybe.
2016.
Oh, it was bad.
March 1st, there was no snow in Rangeley. That was the first year I started riding with Jonathan in Canada. I called him and said, "Hey, listen," because I had done some work for Polaris R&D, and I met him there.
Humble brag.
Yep.
Yep.
And I had called Jonathan and said, "Hey, buddy, you got any snow up there?" And he says, "Yeah, I got 3 to 4 meters." And I said, "No, you Frenchman, you got 3 to 4 feet." He says, "Nope, I got 12 feet." I said, "You got to be kidding me." He says, "No." I says, "All right, I'll be up." So we loaded up the sleds, and sure enough, the night we got there, we got 16 inches, and then the next night we got probably a foot. And that's when I realized that drive 9 hours was worth it. Their annual snowfall is 25 feet.
Yeah.
So he was down.
Their
that
deer
year.
must take it hard.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any around.
No.
I've never seen a deer. All I see up there for tracks is the wolf and moose. But the moose all go to the big park up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they herd like
I can't
elk
imagine
over there.
anything would live up in those mountains.
No.
Yeah. I'm sure that down at the bottom in the valleys, they don't have that much snow.
No. There's a big park up there, and I can't remember the name of it now, but they claim the moose over there herd like elk.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
they have to with that much snow. But
That
Oh,
year,
yeah.
I think we only groomed 6 weeks that year. It
Yeah.
was horrible.
yeah.
Mid-January to the beginning of March.
Yeah. Last year was a good year. We made up for it. This year's, we'll see. It's a good start. There's still 16, 17 inches of snow up, way up.
Oh, yeah, up high there is, yeah.
But-
Yeah. Well,
Welcome to the Northwood Snowmobiling Trail Report.
yeah.
I think we're all still a little, the deer hunting season, kind of.
It was
I
long.
think we're sad that it's over, but
Yeah.
I did nothing for the last week to speak of,
right.
I was so wore out
Yeah.
from deer season.
I was worried about you there because, we didn't even see you around. You were just on a mission. I'm like, I knew what you were up to. I'm like, that guy is gonna kill something big, or he ain't gonna kill nothing. I should have shot one the first week. I see 2 bucks the first week on bare ground. I could have killed. I got a picture of both of them on my phone.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, it's bare ground. I didn't think they were quite 200 pounds, but they were good rack bucks. And then we got the snow. I tracked a little bit, and then the second day of tracking, I found that great big track I told you about. And they had just put a new gate up over there where I hunt. So where the guys used to drive in, they couldn't drive in anymore. And to get there was right straight up over this big ridge and down the backside. And that's where that deer wanted to hang out. Well, the walk in the morning was just brutal, but I was in there all alone with me and him and a few does, and I almost killed him twice. And then we got that last 6 inches of snow, and I couldn't even drive in. So I got discouraged and went to work, and that was about it.
Yeah. It was pretty rough. The snow conditions were so bad that was the worst of it.
Yep.
Once we got into the third week, when we started getting some more snow, and then it crusted. Man, was it hard walking. Well, third week, we basically, I think, had crust all week, didn't we, the third week?
Yeah, that was
Yes.
Yeah, we had 2 layers, and you couldn't get near nothing. I crunched around all day, and you gotta go because you just might catch one in the right place situation. And
That was actually. Go ahead.
yeah, I beat my legs up on that, and then we started getting the powder on top of it, and you had to lift your feet out that much more. And I had Jerry there, my client, Thanksgiving week, and we did a lot of pounding that week every day. And I'd get up in the morning, pull my pants on, and go, and I'd get back at night, come down to the lodge and eat, drive home, check my email, and flop into bed and do it all over. That's what I did. I went on Facebook blackout pretty much the whole month. I think I posted a couple times on Sundays, and that was it. Yeah. I didn't want to take any time for anything. I found as I get older, you got to rest your body a little bit more than when you're younger, Yeah. Because last year I'd shot that buck the 3rd day, and so it was kind of like easy, I wasn't pressured at all. And then I went to New York a couple times, and I kind of took it easy a lot. I mean, I went, but my knee was still bothering me from that meniscus thing. But this year everything was good. I had a little bit of problem with my knee, but it wasn't from that. It was just some ligament trouble that got inflamed, and then by muzzleloader week, it wasn't coming out of it. I'd get a night's sleep and it seemed pretty good, but by muzzleloader season, I'd get up in the morning, it was already hurting, so I knew it wasn't going to get any better during the day. But kept going, it paid off. That's it. You just got to go.
And you ended up with a cameraman.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Jason must have been thrilled about that.
Yeah. Well, Jason, actually, I got a hold of Jason, and he's got enough to make some kind of a short.
Good.
Put together a little film from the 4 days, but I just really want him to kind of put something together about the day I gave that one the haircut, because he took some video of the sign along the way, and but even if he can make a few minutes out of it, something to show, but because that was a pretty cool hunt too. So
Lee was going to post some pictures, I think, of a hemlock signpost that he found down there.
Yeah.
In that area we're at, which was pretty cool.
Yeah. Southern Maine hunting.
No, it's not southern. It's only
Central Maine.
It's only a half hour south of here. No, 40 minutes south of here where we were. It's not too far. It's just south of the line anyway.
Oh, it's got to be
it's just south of 16.
Yeah.
So 45 minutes probably. It's right in the middle. But anyway, that place we were in, there was a ton of hemlock. Which
it's funny.
Not many hemlock stands around like that where I usually go.
Yeah, there's none up here. You find them old bull hemlocks in the woods here and there, but I never find any small ones. It's just the stuff they left years ago, because they never cut them up here, I don't think, because there was never enough of them to make a truckload. So you'll see them old ones, but it's funny how the different trees grow different levels, because hemlock and oak grow a lot. Same areas, we don't have the oak up this far north, but we don't have the hemlock really, so.
Yeah. But even around Skowhegan, doesn't seem to be a lot that I can think of. Not big stands, but this spot, it was loaded with them. It was nice in there.
Yeah.
I found a big beech grove last week.
That's kind of rare too nowadays.
Yeah. That's the other thing that was in this area, loaded with beech. Yeah, beech and hemlock.
I was on a buck track there, and I'm cruising down through this hardwood ridge, and I'm like, that's a beech tree. I walked over to it, and I looked, well, there's another beech tree. Then as I got looking around, that whole north side of that mountain was covered with beech.
Huh.
20 minutes later, I walked right out of it. So I asked one of the foresters, I says, I was up by that beech grove, and he goes, geez, not many people know where that beech grove is, but he said there's always bear in around there. So
Yeah, I bet.
He said, we're going to cut that next year, right?
Probably.
Right.
They usually don't leave them,
No. Well, they wasn't big. It was almost like they were a regen.
Probably were, yeah.
Which is hard to believe because they had to be beech there before, right? To regen. So.
Yeah, you still get into a lot of that. I call it the winter beech with the leaves on it, the small ones.
Yep.
So a lot of it's regenerating, but you don't see a lot of big beech anymore.
No.
I don't think they like them. I think they cut them down so something else
I was kind of wondering about that with all the young beech, because like where we were yesterday, it was just loaded with that young
winter
what
beech.
you call winter beech,
Yeah.
that noisy crap.
Yeah, you can't
You
shoot.
can't
See through.
You can't see. You can't walk through it. You can't. I mean, it's just pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But anyway, it doesn't. You see a lot of that young stuff, but you don't necessarily. There's not as many mature.
Well, they cut them. That's why the young stuff's there. They cut all the big beech down. Like I said, you hardly ever find any big beech groves. You might find a big beech tree here and a big one there, you know, kind of mixed in a little spot that didn't get cut. But, boy, there ain't much anymore.
Good firewood if you can split it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got an email the other day from a guy that thought he would like us to give him some input on the questions he has about whatever. But I don't have my glasses, so Joe's got it up, pulling it up on the email there, and he's going to read it to us.
All right. It's a little bit long, but I'll try to get through it here.
Who's this from?
Greetings, Hal.
We don't know.
This is from Daryl Vargas.
All right. Here we go.
All right. These questions may be a good discussion for your team on a YouTube podcast, perhaps, and something you can most likely relate to, as I know you live and hunt in similar areas to me. I hunt in Aroostook, where there are much fewer deer per square mile, but typically larger pockets of deer closer to deer wintering areas, a.k.a. deer yards, which are extremely scarce and limited, few and far between, and typically larger in terms of acreage in comparison to central and southern Maine DWAs, deer wintering areas. Due to early, extremely low temps and deep snow, the deer have headed out from the big woods, sometimes alarmingly high total mileage in some areas, very early into their DWAs, which almost always seem to really be close to townships while they're still rutting. A trend we witnessed last season as well. Starting Thursday of the second week this season, I saw a total of 40 deer cross within 3 days on one migration crossing in the big woods, where 7 of the 40 deer were bucks, including one old buck well over 200 pounds that I unfortunately missed in some brush as he wouldn't step into the open and was about to bolt. Anyways, my questions are, how would you recommend hunting late season bucks heading into muzzleloader week when they all seem to be leaving their core areas and headed to the deer yards? I really would prefer not to shoot one yarded up, no challenge or respect in that. We all agree. Secondly, would you say that not all, especially the bigger or biggest bucks, head to or near the deer wintering areas with the rest of the other younger bucks, does, and lambs? It would make sense to me the bigger, smarter deer will still remain in their hideouts in higher elevations like large ridges or low bogs, but that also contradicts my understanding of a buck's testosterone and desire to be with the last hot does to breed, especially this late. Would love to hear your feedback on this topic. Also might provide good further discussion for some podcast topic ideas.
Good question.
Yeah. Good question, Daryl.
It always brings up a lot of debate. I know that. You see social media flying around whenever the snow gets deep.
Yeah, especially, we didn't hear it so much around here this year, although I don't think last year, we know a lot of them were coming down early when we started getting that snow. This year, I thought it was kind of a little different. They actually a few deer started coming down those migration trails like the second week when we had a little snow. I think we had maybe 4 or 5 inches of snow, not enough to make them yard, but it was extremely cold. And then it all stopped for the rest of the season, basically, pretty much. You know, those few migration trails, you know, after them first little shot of them came down through, and it wasn't many, it was half a dozen here or there. And then it kind of stopped, and I was checking them migration trails, not purposely just to check them, but driving by them, and I just keep an eye out to see if anything was happening, and nothing really did, really right up and even into muzzleloader season. Those deer didn't come down here. They kind of, I think the ones that moved, and I think they tightened up, but I think they had a little more snow up there, northern Aroostook, than we had in time, so I think it's a localized thing, but I don't know. I know a lot of times what happens if them bucks do come down a migration trail, it's because there's a doe in heat that went down and he's going to follow her till he finds her. But my experience is they generally go back. You know, once they take care of that doe, they go back to where they come from and start over again. They're the last ones to get to a deer yard, and not a lot of them really come to town and come to the deer yards. You know, it might be different up there in different areas, but I still say a lot of them stay back. You know, some knoll, a swamp, or somewhere where they feel safe and they don't come in. But
yeah, I do remember, I think I talked about it before, but a lone buck right out here, which there's no yards around here anymore.
Right.
And it was this one lone big buck just living on the mountain.
Yeah.
You know, just staying right there.
There was a couple of years ago, we were grooming second week of January, canyon trail between Rangeley and Eustis. And at 10 o'clock at night, I'm going along, and all of a sudden I look, and there's a buck track. Looked like a moose track, so I had to stop and look at it. Big old buck had come down off in that mountain, got on the snowmobile trail, and walked probably 4 miles right straight to Eustis. Just had enough, and that was in January.
Yeah,
So-
wasn't it? Yeah, I think right out here, was it Paul Laney said there was one that come off of Parlin Mountain. It was either last winter or the winter before. He was checking for cat tracks over there. Middle of winter, January, maybe even February. He said a big buck track slugged right down and come down across the road, headed south. I don't know if he thought he was going to make it to the forks or just trying to get into another thicket or something.
He was hungry.
Something. Hey, folks. Hal here. Hey, want to talk about the biggest challenge people have in the woods, especially the big woods trying to hunt, is navigation. It's the number one, and it's the key to be able to hunt successfully in the big woods. And a compass, of course, you got to have a compass, but maps to go along with your compass is really going to be a key. You know, they're going to show you a lot of things like your terrain features and all that, and also the old trails, logging roads, etc. And I think the way to get these is with Onyx. They've got a great mapping software, and you can download it into your phone as an app, or you can get an SD chip to put into your GPS. They fit most any modern GPS, and that'll cover. You can get them. You can get a chip for any state, or you can when you download the app, what you can do is download, topographical, but also satellite imagery. And that's the one I use the most, because the satellite imagery tells me I can see what kind of trees, if it's softwood trees, hardwood trees, and you can also see logging, different types of cuts. It might be a clear cut or whatever. Very, very helpful for hunting, whether it's deer, moose, or anything you're hunting. But what I like about it is when you're hunting in remote areas, you don't have cell service, so you're basically offline. But if you download ahead of time a certain area, the area you're going to hunt, download it into your phone, and you can bring it up, and it'll show you right where you are, and you can kind of keep track of your positions and all of that. Anyways, excited to tell you about a partnership we formed with Onyx. So go to onyx.com, and we get you a 20% discount. You punch in the promo code BWB, and you're going to get 20% off on your Onyx. All right, get down there and get those apps downloaded and get your chips for your GPS and get ready to hunt. Hey, Hal here. Just want to take a minute to talk about the hunting club. And you can join by going right online at bigwoodsbucks.com. But anyways, I've got all my information is going in there, and it's a place where you can get together and look at my films, tips, writings, and all of that. And the best part is there's forums for you to communicate with, the rest of the club members, talk about big wood stuff and all of that. So anyways, $36 a year, cheaper than getting a Starbucks once a day. So join up, and hope you see you're on there. Yeah, it's common.
I think that I mean, that one I was after over there, there was 3 or 4 does and another smaller buck in a big low area. And the snow and the green growth under there was only 4, 5, 6 inches deep, but it was almost knee deep outside of it.
Right.
And they was all hanging right there, Yeah. And they'd have probably stayed there until they thought they had to get out,
Yeah.
Which they might still be there now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, and maybe it is like right in town. I don't know, but I don't see the whole fish in a barrel thing here like it sounds like it is up north sometimes.
Yeah.
They're right in town. They run across in Jackman right at Bishop's, and there's always deer right there, which I can't imagine who's hunting in town anyway.
Yeah.
But
well, I think the amount of deer tracks you see, like the deer herd up north is fairly well balanced. That being said, there might be one like a doe and her lambs, I think at least for every other buck, you know what I mean? There's not. So if you see, I think he said in that email he saw 40-something deer and like 7 of them were bucks. Well, that tells me that weren't very many bucks coming through compared to the amount of does. So them other bucks were staying somewhere. Yeah. And there was only out of 40 deer, one shooter. Big buck, I'm sure the other ones, usually them yearling bucks, they'll come down. They don't know any different. They're kind of following the rest of the deer. That's what they think they do. But that shows you that the big bucks ain't coming. They're still, they're still staying back somewhere. And until, you can find them easy enough, they're going to roam, and there's still going to be some does somewhere. All the does don't move at once. From what I can see, I think the deer that have to go the furthest start the earliest. If there's a deer that's 30 miles from the deer yard, those deer get nervous early, and they start a little earlier than the ones that are, 5 miles from the deer yard, Because even here, I don't know about the ones from up here that go to the forks, but I just took a ride a couple days ago, and there's still deer because the snow the rain kind of took the snow down, but the deer are still not walled right up in town. There was still deer tracks headed that way now, which is normal for middle of December. But so I would say my answer would be still try to find your pockets of deer and hunt there. I understand if you can't find any deer anywhere that probably the bucks are following them down, but I would still think you could do good in the peripherals, finding a track or whatever.
Yeah, didn't the guys, I think Logan was saying that up north where they hunt, which is not way up north, it's not Aroostook County, but north of here, he said they thought they were all heading to yard real early, that all the deer were gone.
Yeah, a lot of them did because they got more snow out of that shot we got. They got, in the earliest snow, they got like 18 inches up there, and then it crusted. And because when I took that ride up with my snowmobile there, that was bad going for deer. There was still a foot of snow with a crust on it, and that ain't very good going for a deer, and they get nervous about that, and they were headed. But every area is different, the way the snow hits.
When does a season run across the border in Quebec? Do they kill a bunch of the yarded deer up there? They must.
If it falls right, they probably do, but I think it's a muzzleloader too, because they have like, I don't know, they got a short bow season, and they got a rifle and a muzzleloader, but their seasons aren't as long. Their season is, I don't know if it's a couple weeks, a few weeks or something, but I don't know as they shoot a heck of a lot of them that are yarded up, I'm sure at times they might, but.
Did Nathan K get a hold of you last week? He's a forester over our way.
Nope.
So I guess the state's getting together on the subject of feeding deer, and they're asking different people and landowners and whatnot. And Nathan had listened to a podcast, and he thought you had a pretty good theory on feeding deer, but I couldn't remember what you said. Or
my theory is this, probably what he was thinking is if you are going to feed them, you got to get them off the highways.
Yeah.
Get them off the roads. That's what's killing them all. There's no sense feeding them to try to get them through the winter if they're all going to get hit by cars.
Yeah. I know
that's what happens in the forks.
Yeah, I know they're doing that now up in Aroostook, up around Allagash where that big deer yard is. They've made specific places for them, and they get the game wardens to look at it, and they choose places to feed them now.
Yep.
Yes, and I think that would work even in Jackman. The forks for sure, but they have a place that's far enough away from the roads, but I don't know if it's other people feed them right there in town up on the hill or whatever.
That's what it is. Yeah, yep. Gordon feeds them there in the field and has forever.
Yeah.
And, there's generations of deer that are just conditioned to that. And I saw it's literally the day after season when it ends up here. They know to show up. Right. It's pretty cool. But it's that everyone wants to feed them. It's everyone's feeding them at their houses.
Right.
So maybe it would be, you got to be like the licensed area feed guy or whatever. I mean, look at and otherwise it's illegal to feed them. Probably going to be pretty contentious, and no one's going to like that. But that's why they're getting killed. They're crossing back and forth from house to house, and they all have their favorites. And I mean, we talked about it many times. I think a couple of years ago, it was like 120 or something, I think.
Yeah.
Just in the Forks. Like in a 3 or 4 mile stretch.
Yeah, car deer collisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rangeley's the same way this time of year. It's constant.
That's a lot of deer out of 1 yard.
Yeah.
Well, I think
that's got to be 2/3 or a third of them at least.
I think there was 3 this week on Route 4 between Rangeley and Aquasic.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a problem at the Forks too. Is it's the main drag for the trucks and everything else, and there's just one little stretch right in the village where you slow down. It's different up in Jackman. There really isn't much for deer until you get down where you got to be slowed up to 35, and then down through town's 25.
Yeah.
And then you don't pick up speed again till you get out of town, up the hill the other side. And quite frankly, I think that's where most of them get hit is up on the Sky Lodge Hill there because the trucks are hammering down. They probably hit them coming south because they ain't going up the hill. They ain't doing any speed. So, but I think that's probably the difference is it's just because of the highway and the rate of speed the vehicles are going that they hit a lot more down this way than they do uptown. But
yeah.
So,
but yeah, it's there's the designated deer yard for the area in the Forks is actually, it's out off the road quite a ways, mile or so, half a mile to a mile or whatever. And my thinking was if you just had one area that was the feed yard, but I don't know. I'm no deer biologist.
No, I think that's a great idea.
I think you need more than one because, like, these areas have got so big where the deer are that you don't want to bring them all to one spot.
Yeah, then maybe you risk like the whole CWD thing or whatever.
Well, I don't know so much about that. It's just they fight over it anyways. You don't want a couple hundred deer in one spot feeding. Like up Jackman, you could have 5 places easy enough where they come to feed.
Yeah,
keep them spread out.
At one time, I lived in a place called the Mountain House in Rangeley, and we could feed up to 25 a day, and I fed them right in the driveway, and you'd go out, and it looked like a barber shop after they ate.
Yeah.
Because they'd cut the hair and bite the hair off in each other and fight, and you'd have to go out and run off some of the bigger ones so the little ones could eat for a few minutes before they came in.
Yeah, I had that.
I know Gordon's always careful about that. When he strings it out, it's always a long line of it, so they all get a chance, and it's not in piles.
Yeah, that's what I used to do because they'd do that. It was funny because the ones that kicked around the most was them old does.
Yeah.
They'd run around, they'd kick the crap out of the rest of them to get them out of the way,
Yeah.
They'd have hair missing, looks like scars down them there. But so, yeah, you got to keep them spread out a little bit. So anyways, Darryl, I think the answer is if you don't want to hunt around the deer yards, which I don't blame you, is you're just going to have to. And again, if you got to remember, these 2 past years were kind of anomalies. We don't usually have that. I mean,
he said that last year too.
Yeah, I said
it's not going to happen this year, right, Lee?
Yeah,
I marked it down. It was at 3 minutes and 24 seconds.
Yeah,
he said that.
It wasn't as bad this year as the year before. The deer didn't really this area they didn't really yard up quite as much, but in some areas they did. But
didn't we ask you to turn that off?
I'm a prima donna. Remember?
Oh,
yeah.
I have to. What if my agent calls?
You were that kid in class, weren't you?
Yeah, with the dunce cap on. Yeah.
We still make them wear it for those of you that can't see them.
Yeah. I would still think if it's, and it depends on the time of year because if they're yarding in the 3rd week, it's different than if they're yarding muzzleload a week. Really, I mean, it's just you got to run with it. If it's the rut's basically the 15th, the 30th. And them bucks are going to be chasing around everywhere. They're not just going to be following 1 or 2 does down into the yard, It should be easy enough to, go hunt somewhere else and try to find a pocket of deer. Or if you know where the signposts are, I still go look at them, go check them out. They're going to go by there in their travels if they're in the area.
Speaking of signposts, that new Onyx app that we have, you can just take a picture and with your Onyx and it pins it.
Thanks, Peepaw, for filling us in on that.
Yeah.
You're just figuring it out.
Wow.
Hey,
No,
wait a
but
minute.
I'm
now.
trying
Wait. Explain
Okay, wait
this
a
to
minute.
me because I don't know about that.
What do you mean?
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm trying to promote our sponsor, Joe. This is why you have a trouble. This is why
He's making fun of you because you just figured it out, Lee. And I ain't figured it out, so he's really making fun of me.
I figured it out like 2 days after I downloaded it. But this is the first time I've seen you guys because you've been too busy chasing deer. But, yeah, so you take a picture.
Take a picture with your camera and your phone.
Yeah, I'll show you.
And you can put it right where the waypoint is. When you mark your waypoint, you edit that waypoint, and then you upload the picture to it. So you can have a picture.
Yeah, see, you're getting a little techie for me here now.
Oh, I'll show you. It's pretty simple.
In my lock trap mine, I remember what they look like.
If you look at Braden's phone on his Onyx, he's got all these marks, and it might be a signpost, it might be a scrape, it might be a chaga,
Yeah.
a hunk of chaga.
So see, one of those waypoints right there has a little camera on it.
Okay.
So that's just a picture. What I haven't figured out yet is if I push that, like how do you open? Oh, I could share it.
Just to give you guys a visual, he looks like when you give a chimpanzee something to play with.
It's hard. I'll tell Chris this right now. It's hard not to curse when I have to do these podcasts with Joe.
Let it loose. He knows how to beep things out.
Oh, that's a good feature.
Don't hold back.
It is.
Maybe.
No. So, anyways, Onyx. I think I've sold that, and everybody asks me, "Oh, what's that cost?" I'm like, "Well, I really don't know." So,
just tell them to go on the site because we got a discount code.
yeah, and I didn't know that. I'd sold like a dozen of them, and then Chris is like, "Hey, tell them to use the Big Woods Bucks discount." So, what's that about? So, if you want the Onyx, you go on the website and you punch in your promo code, right? Big Woods Bucks.
BWB.
BWB, and then you save
20%.
20%, and then we get an attaboy for that, right? From Onyx.
Yeah.
You're not
Lee's
a lot of help,
figuring it
Joe,
out.
because you like it's a little bit like treason because you know this stuff, but you don't share it. Yeah.
Treason. That's a strong word.
It's like, look how smart I am.
See, first I've heard of it, Lee. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome, Hal.
Yeah.
Well,
So, one of the things that I heard from some of our clients this year who are listening is it is great getting the feedback. Is with sponsors comes us promoting products because that's how it works.
Yeah.
They spend their money, and we have made it a priority to only take on products that we really can push and believe in. So if we sound commercialized, we're not trying to sound commercialized. We're just telling you how we feel about the product that people are spending money to get the word out on. So with that said, let's talk about tires. We've had this hunting season to go through it.
Yeah. Yeah. Fine. We got our Yokohama tires there. I got mine on, I think, just in time for moose, but I don't think you did. Maybe would you? Yeah, you didn't. But so I actually didn't really get into too much for mud. Scouting around, I did a little bit, but you was with me that day, Lee. You took a picture of him that day. Yeah, I got turned around in a muddy spot there without putting it in 4-wheel drive. But where I really noticed it was I was wondering about how they was going to be in the snow because, they're called MTs, so they're mud terrain tires. So you wonder what they'll do in the snow. And I was actually pretty impressed with them. They're the best tires in the snow I've ever had, and I've had lots of tires. And I really noticed it because we had these different layers of snow. Then we get ice under it, and then we get more snow on it and crust and all of that. But I had a couple of pretty bad roads I was running with a lot of ditches and steep hills and stuff. And I could go with my power wagon, which I ended up using because I lost the drive shaft in
The Ram Charger.
Yeah, the Gray Ghost. Yeah, I knew it was.
You was gomming around in the Gray Ghost and broke a drive shaft.
I knew it was going when I could hear that chink, 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 when I was backing up, and I go. I told that was a Thanksgiving week there, and I said, "Boy, that ain't long for the world." Sure enough, I think it was the second day. It was getting bad, and I drove all the way out, and got to the corner. Jerry was meeting me there, so he took my truck in. But anyway, I got out to the highway, pulled up to his truck. He got out, got his stuff in. I put it in reverse to back up, and clunk, 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 clunk. the back drive shaft fell right out on the ground there. It completely. It was so bad that the end caps were gone, and the ends of the universal joint were about half wore right off. And jeez, I couldn't believe it. It didn't seem like, from the sound of it that it was that bad, but it was. So anyways, I ended up using the Power Wagon from then on. But I could go through them ditches and up the hills in places with that Power Wagon. It's a lot heavier of a rig, as good or even better than my Ram Charger with them Super Swampers on there.
Did he just say that, Lee?
Better.
Something went better than the Ram chart.
I followed him out through the Holub Road one morning. I almost had to ditch him because he was poking along there, but he was on that glare ice with them Super Swampers on. He looked like a four-legged deer, and he was riding right in the crown of the road, just even both sides, because he knew if he got off to one side, he was headed into the ditch.
Yeah. Well,
I've been real happy with mine.
Yeah.
That like Hal said, they're good in the snow, but I do a lot of highway miles back and forth.
Oh, yeah, they're quiet, huh?
Well, not just that. I mean, you can run with those things. They're smooth at
I'd
80.
like to have seen that. No, I wouldn't have liked to have seen, but I would have got a picture of them Yokohamas tits up this morning on 201 when you come sideways there.
So Lee was servicing his truck in Bingham on the side of the road when I came through. His hood was up.
True story.
And I thought, yeah, it looked like a Summit building truck. So I spun around to make sure he's okay, and he was out of oil. He thought that someone neglected to put oil in it.
Yeah,
so
everybody but me.
So I said, all right, I'll see you at the lodge, and I took off. And I was in two-wheel drive because the roads were a little wet, but no big deal. Well, I came around one of the corners about 70, and my ass end went out. And I was like, yeah, it tightened up.
Yeah.
I slowed down quite a bit after that. We had a little black ice apparently.
Yeah.
He passed some poor old guy in a car with Quebec plates, is white knuckle driving. Joe screams around him by Wyman at 70 miles an hour. So I'm like, geez, he's awful brave, because the roads were. And I didn't have my truck with the studded tires in it, so they're good tires, but not studs. So I was being a little careful. Well, I finally got by the old fella there, and I come around the corner, and Joe's in the middle of the road, and he's like poking. And I'm like, that was nice of him to slow down, make sure I was okay. And we get up here, and he gets out of the truck. He's like, geez, did you see that? I'm like, no, I didn't.
Oh, it was bad. It went around once, and I caught it, and there was still a bit of curve left, and it went around again, and it went a little bit more that time. And anyway, I backed her down. I was going a little bit too fast for the conditions, but I will say those Yokohama tires, they stuck right to the road. If it hadn't have been for those tires, no telling where I'd be.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I'm happy and heck with them things.
I am too. I'm a fan. So
Can they stud them? Can we stud them?
I don't think they have the stud holes in.
not the MTs, but I'm sure they have a studdable tire.
They must have some
I
that
love
you
them
can.
studded tires.
Yeah, I'm a fan
Just
too.
on that ice, it's just
go
wherever you want to go. I'm going.
Yeah.
We did have to run. I mean, some of the conditions we had down here during deer season, we had to run chains a lot. It was just no matter what you had, it wasn't going to work. So we
you had to dig for the bottom. I think the biggest problem was that when we got those crusts underneath, and you got all the snow on top, you were dragging underneath. But when you break through the crust, it's like sugar, and there's absolutely no traction. And I don't care what you got, there's no traction. You got to get through that and with the chains and get into the bottom where you can hook onto some dirt or something, ice.
I think the most action that we had, I had that guy with the camera there, muzzleloader week, Taylor. I think the most action we had all week was when I got stuck and lost my front drive shaft. And I thought about Hal's story because we were 7 miles up. And
Side road there, yeah.
Yeah, and no one anywhere around. No one had been on that road in a week, I bet. And we got up to the end, and you look through a ditch and you think, yeah, I think I can make that. And there was nothing but pure snow on the other side, just beautiful for finding a track. So we crawled through the ditch, and then there was a second one beyond that. I said, well, I'm not feeling that courageous this afternoon. It's kind of getting late in the day. We'll go somewhere else. So I went to back out, and it wasn't I mean, it wasn't a bad spot at all or anything. It was just a turnaround area there. And anyway, I went to back out and I broke the union that's between the two.
Constant velocity.
Yeah, between the two U-joints
front drive shaft.
where it goes the transfer case, and it broke it. I mean, it was a loud clunk. We knew something bad happened. So anyway, I had to jack the back of the truck up to get the chains on, so it would back out in two-wheel drive. And then, so I didn't have the tools to get the drive shaft unbolted off the differential. So I pulled it. I cut it, was able to pull it so that just a spline was, there's like a 9 or 10 inch spline left there. So of course that's always going around. So, so that was fun coming out at 2 miles an hour all the way out. And, we made it, but it was
interesting.
It was, it was just one of those enjoyable afternoons.
Didn't you just have them new universals put in that just before that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Who did that? You?
Nope.
How you making out with that, all right?
Oh, yeah.
Does that warranty work?
Nope.
No, actually it wasn't, because it wasn't the U-joint that gave.
Oh, it wasn't?
No, it was actually the coupling that holds the two U-joints together, and that was the original part.
Oh.
Yeah, so I ended up I just bought a whole drive shaft. It was cheaper than messing with, well, I don't know if it was cheaper, but it was better than messing with everything else. And
yeah,
so I just bought a whole new drive shaft.
You didn't throw the other one out, did you?
No, no, I did not.
Because that ain't that hard to fix.
No, well, it's not, but I had also cut that rubber on it, which I can get a shock boot or something and just put a covering over that. But no, I'm gonna fix that one and
have a spare.
Have a backup. Yep.
Next time you decide to go into them bad places.
Yeah. It had been a while since I had a good breakdown like that, so I was due. Yeah. But so yeah, we're gonna name that film something along the lines of Joe getting stuck or something, because that was the action in it.
Wasn't any deer action.
No. Drive shaft. Nope. So, but anyway.
So Yokomataya. Who else? Woodman Arms.
Oh, Woodman Arms. Yeah. Can't say enough about those pieces of equipment. Holy cow.
I think was that Timmy that just showed up?
Timmy's here.
I think we got to give him the top salesman award. I think he sold, it was either 7 or 11 the other day in one day.
No kidding.
Yeah. They're going like hotcakes.
Yeah. It is a nice piece of equipment.
Yeah.
And I fire that thing knowing that I don't have to clean it all the time. Like my old, which if you look at the owner's manual, it says to make sure it's cleaned all the time, but we know that Mark has said different.
Yeah.
And so I fire it. I like just shooting it just to, see how it's on and see how, and it's a nice gun.
Yeah.
Carries good.
I wish I could remember what the name of them new bullets are. Timmy will know. But I got that one I showed you. I got out of the neck of my deer, drove right through the neck bone to the other side, and it was under the hide. Mushroomed up, just nice, huh? Nice big mushroom on it.
Yeah, held all its weight.
Yeah. Still had probably half the lead in it for going through all that bone. Usually the bone rips that lead out. But, yeah, I did a good job.
Oh, it had at least half the lead. There was quite a bit of...
Yeah, it still felt pretty heavy. It was a 225 grain, yeah. Yeah, it was more than that. Maybe a quarter of the lead or something. Might have kind of slid off in the front of it or something. But, hey, did its job. He's dead, right?
Yeah, when I pulled the one out of the deer that I shot with my... Oh, that's right.
How long ago was that?
Oh, it's been a while. Yeah.
Oh, shoot, yeah.
It's not really fair. You had to guide all season.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not fair. I did have... I don't know... On Monday, that one that I grunted back, that was my chance,
Yeah.
That was the one.
Yeah.
And I'll say again, I think, and you can listen to everyone's stories from guys that hunted around here, and we know guys that, killed deer this year. That grunt tube is one of the single, or if you just use your mouth or whatever, but the grunt call is one of the single most important things you can have with you, I think, because that'll make a believer out of you when you call them back like that, just like nothing,
Now everybody's wondering what the best one is.
Yeah, the Big Woods Bucks one we don't have yet.
It don't matter.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't.
They
but
all
I will say
voices
that Nick turned me on to the extinguisher, and what's nice about it, it's got the slide on it, so you can change the call from a dominant to a young buck real easy. But that's not why I like it. It's because it won't freeze on you. Whereas most other grunt tubes, you go to blow them and you get nothing out of it because something fell in it or froze or whatever.
Yeah,
With that extinguisher, you can just slide a couple times and it's clean and ready to go.
Yeah, if you use it a lot, when it's cold, your breath goes in there and freezes that reed. But if you carry it inside your jacket, it's usually all right. That's what I always did, was just put it down inside the front of my jacket and it would be fine. Hey, Sal here. I want to talk to you about a new partnership we have with Yokohama Tires. And at Big Woods Bucks, we don't take our partnerships lightly. We focus on things that we can use and can believe in and trust. And I've been running a set of the Yokohama Geolander MTs for about a month now. And over the years, we've had a lot of trouble in the woods, with gravel roads, shale roads, and flat tires and stuff. And so I tried these tires out on a moose hunt, and they worked fabulous. I had no problems with them, and still testing them. But the thing I like too is I made a trip to New York, and they're for a mud tire, they're extremely quiet on the road. Probably the most quiet ones I've had for an aggressive tread tire. And so we're going to keep at testing them here, but I think they're going to be the ticket. I've used dozens of different tires over the years, and these look like they're going to be the ticket. So anyways, the tires are made right here in the USA, down in Virginia. All the light tires, light truck and car tires. There's like 51 sizes available. And they also have a Geolander XAT as a new tire that it's a little less aggressive, like more of an all-season radial. So anyways, check out their website, Yokohama Tire, and see if it's something you can use.
Hey guys, Joe here. Wanted to take a few minutes to talk about Lake Parlin Lodge. We're a 4-season lodge located just south of Jackman. We've got cabins, lodge rooms, mini lodge. We're a big snowmobile destination in the winter, full restaurant, bar, all the amenities that you need for your trip. Open obviously through the summer, right on the lake. Kayaks, canoes, all included with the cabin. We also do a lot of weddings, so if you're looking for a destination wedding, we can do a wedding up to 200 people. And of course, we've got our hunting season, moose season, deer season. So check us out. We're at lakeparlinlodge.com.
So, yeah, but anyways, it was a good season, and I think.
What about anything for outfitters for next season that you want to talk about? Or
yeah, if anybody's interested in coming, I'm just trying to kind of wrap it up with this year's hunters. Getting their response. A lot of them are coming back, and I wanted to make sure they got their first chance on the week they want, and then basically about January 1st, I'll start filling in those blanks. And I lost a couple weeks of guiding. Joe said he ain't doing 4 weeks again, but I didn't, because Lee said he'd make up the slack for him.
No,
That's right.
Yep.
he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No,
I heard him.
he
Superstar.
No.
I already got a list of people waiting to go with Lee.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
The
he's
list.
famous.
No.
They watched that film.
Yeah.
I think the American plan is the way to go, because you get to hang out here at the lodge at night. That's a lot of fun. We had fun here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You betcha.
Couple responses I had about that was we had to, not that we have to, but they thought it would be, it would have been a little better if, like, instead of just sitting around the table and kind of everybody around the table, everybody's in their own little conversations, But if we just did something like maybe at the fireplace or something and, gave out a few tips for the day, or make sure everybody had a good place they were hunting, the American plan. So it's a point taken, so we'll do that next year. Make a little better effort to make sure.
I think instead of the fireplace, we should do it in the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because we give up more secrets in the bar.
The bar is fun after.
Yeah.
And before.
Yeah, that's true.
It's fun hanging out.
Either way,
there.
but just to make sure everybody, on the American plan, the do-it-yourselfers, they're into some deer and they're...
And it's not really like, I know they're doing it themselves, but we're here. We talked to all them guys, answered all their questions, and always made sure they were into deer. I thought we did.
Yeah,
go here, go there.
Just telling you what I get for suggestions, that's
Yeah.
all. Maybe it's just the format they wanted to
I
have a
didn't
little
think Lee
different.
talked to anyone. I thought Lee just said, I'm not doing autographs today, and he went off to the bar and had a drink. Tito's.
One night a week was enough.
What's that, for autographs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyways, yeah. But there is a lot of people that want the guided hunts, Lee. It's not. There's people that they just don't want to bother with having to go figure out how they're going to find deer for a few days, and then they find them, and then they got 2 days left to hunt there.
Yeah.
So there's a call for both of it. We're trying to accommodate that. So anyways, get a hold of me if you want to book a hunt by, like I said, around the first of the year, even if you want to get a hold of me before then, and we'll start the process and figure out when you're looking at. And the other thing I wanted to mention was I'm going to start taking bookings for next year's deer clinics, and I'm going to do those starting May 8th. May 8th to the 10th will be the first one, and I'm going to do 3, so there'll be the 2 weekends following. It'll be 3-day weekends, basically. We do a Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal on those. So you can get a hold of me about those. Just give me a call for those or an email, hal@bigwoodsbucks.com or 207-668-4870.
We'll put that number up on the screen.
Yeah.
Operator standing by. And also, if you haven't yet, if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel, we're trying to push more of our content, and I think we're going to probably work on the future having this right on the YouTube channel. Just set up a camera and doing the podcast that way.
Yep.
Where it's audio and visual.
Yep. Subscribe up. There's something else you have to, some other button you hit. You subscribe, and then you got to hit a button. Oh, a notification thing. There's one that notifies you when any of our YouTube things comes out.
You listen to him, Lee.
Yeah. I think that's how
that
it works.
Notification thingy.
Yeah, the notification thingy.
He's coming right along.
Don't look at Lee and try to make fun of me, because me and Lee are about at the same level.
Yeah. We're on the same team here.
Yeah.
All so I just got to give a shout out to Larry and the boys over there. There's some woodchuck buddies of mine I met this year, guys from Vermont, and they hunt about the same area. So
they killed all your bucks over there.
No, I don't think they got them all, but
they got a pretty good pile.
Yeah, they're pretty good hunters, and good guys too, because they're not, we all know those guys that are so competitive that they can't even congratulate another hunter on killing a deer. And those guys aren't like that. They always want to know what'd you do today and where'd you go, and they know about where some of them same bucks are. But anyway, so I come out of the woods one afternoon about 2:00, and it had been a long trek that day, and never really see a buck track that I wanted. And all of a sudden, I'm coming out of the woods, and a buck and 2 bucks, big one, a little one, and a doe across the road, and fresh tracks. And I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to catch him. So I take off on a mission right out of the truck, and I parked right on the tracks. So I go probably 2.5 miles in a pretty good fashion. And all of a sudden, I see a doe get up out of her bed, and I'm like, "Oh, he's right there." And a buck got up, but it wasn't a giant body. And I looked, and I couldn't see through the peep sight, obviously, and I didn't have my binoculars, but I couldn't see a rack. So they take off and they cross the road. So I come out onto the road. Well, now it's probably 3:30, and I'm like, "Well, I got a little walk back to the truck." So I head back to the truck, and this old white Suburban pulls up. Need a ride? Yeah. So I get in. He said, "Where you going? That white Ford pickup truck?" I said, "Yep." He says, "That was my buck." And he's, big bearded gentleman. And I was like, "Oh, sorry." So we shot the shit for a few minutes, and I told him I caught it. And he said, "Well, the small buck was a spike horn with 1 spike." He said, "And the bigger buck I never saw, but it was a good one anyway." So anyways, he drops me off. So the next day I'm coming out of the woods about dark, and he pulls up beside me, and he says, "Hey, you asshole, you never told me who you was."
Missed it.
Yeah. He said, "You never told me who you was." And I said, "Oh, whatever." So he says, "Me and the boys love to listen to them podcasts." He says, and he said, "We listened to them all the way to Montana last year." He says, "And the best part of that is," he says, "when you guys are razzing Hal." He said, "We really like that." So I said, "Well, good. We'll keep it up then."
You said woodchuck buddies? What is woodchuck code?
Oh,
is that code for something?
Yeah. For Vermonters. And I don't know where it come from. It could have come from my grandfather or wherever, but as long as I've known, we always, our nickname for the guys from Vermont were woodchucks. So,
okay.
And
They call themselves woodchucks.
Yeah, Ed Canary there. He was my client there the third week, and I kept giving him, "Come on, get dressed, you woodchuck. Let's go."
Never heard the old woodchuck.
I don't
thing.
think they take offense to it at all.
Nah, comes with their territory, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a bunch of them over there, and they kind of blamed us. Them guys blamed us a little bit for making the sport so popular.
Yeah.
Like, we like to listen to the podcast, but at the same time, we're seeing a lot more trucks on tracks out here. So
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
They all want to hunt around Rangeley where Lee hunts.
That's right.
Yeah,
Go to Rangeley.
We got more amenities,
Land of the giant bucks and
Yeah.
There's
famous
some good
deer
ones. They
trackers.
shot 3 bucks in that, and they're going to know right where I'm talking about, that Portage Brook area. It's kind of a natural migration area anyways, but for some reason this year the bucks traveled a lot more. It seemed like
Yeah,
you'd get
it
on
did.
a track and they'd never stop.
Yep.
That happened. And then the other thing I found was I didn't see as many does around out in the big country. You know what I mean?
That's why
Like,
they're There's I think there's less deer, and they just had to put the miles on to find the does.
So when I did find a pocket of does, it was just 2 or 3, and maybe a small buck in with them. But one day we had a fresh snow, and I drove by 2 tracks going down into that Portage Brook area, and I had probably chased one of them in the past, but I was fixated on that big one I had been after. So I drove by them 2 tracks, and Quinn Philbick killed one of them, and another guy from Vermont killed the other one. One was an 8-pointer, and one was an 11-pointer, both right around 200 pounds, within 150 yards of each other.
No kidding.
Yeah, and then they pulled another small 7-pointer out of there, 170 something, I think. And that same all 3 of those bucks had come down off in that Cupsuptic Mountain that in the night, and they killed them all right there in that bottom the next day.
Oh, Lee just gave up their spot.
Oh, there ain't no deer there now. They killed them all.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Find a new spot for next year, right?
But it's kind of funny when a guy says, I chased that buck that crosses by that big clear cut today, and I never caught up to him. And then somebody says, I shot that buck that crosses by the big clear cut, So them deer are living right there. They're eventually going to get shot with that many people in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I like it when nobody knows where my bucks come from or they seen them.
Well,
By the way, you got to post that picture now of the drop time. People were asking about that. Are you going to post a picture? I mean, it's been long enough.
Oh, yeah, I'll post
You
it.
should post that on Big Woods Bucks. Just post a video and the picture.
Well, the whole thing I was a little disappointed that I was saying on the last podcast, I think, that I picked them cameras up this year, and the 3 biggest bucks I had on my camera there at that signpost, none of those showed up this year. Well, that drop time one wasn't coming to the signpost. He just randomly went by there, walked by. And I set the camera up this year, at an angle where I would catch him, if he did, at a better angle. And he never showed up, and the other 2 10-pointers never showed up this year. I thought it was kind of strange. But I did have 5 bucks on it anyway, so they're up and coming.
Maybe we'll do a post with all trail cam, because I had some pretty good trail cam photos this year too.
Yeah.
Some good bucks.
I got some good
cool scrape videos.
Yeah,
and
I got some videos. I took a little longer ones this year. I was doing 10-second, but I did some 20-second ones, and it's actually better. You get to see a little bit more of it in the same thing. So, well, anyways, I guess it's time to wrap it up. Boy, the time goes quick when you're having fun, huh?
Yep.
And so Merry Christmas to everybody, and a Happy New Year. And
Appreciate all the support and everyone listening.
yeah. Hope we see you at one of the shows this year between Vermont or the Maine Sportsman Show. Or
I think I'm going to go to the Vermont show this year.
all right,
I want to go over.
people waiting for your autograph.
Yep. Well, I've been promised a lot of Tito's and Cran if I showed up, so
That's all it takes.
we'll be giving shit away at the booth. Come on over.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Till next time, good luck on the trail.